do. 10, 9, 8.
We should do the Anchorman warm-ups.
Hey, think you can tell us what to do?
Now, brown cow.
You think you can tell us what to wear? You think that you're better? Well, you better get ready. Bow to the masters. Bring the world
Tuesday night, 21-6, the net. Let me tell you something, brother. Coming at you hard, coming at you live. The show that's all about sports, entertainment, professional wrestling, the ins, the outs, the ups, the downs. Tim Santos, Tom Odell. Welcome back. Happy New Year. Of course, brought to you through the financial support of our good friends over at the Santos Agency Health Markets and Tom's Productions. Guys, give yourselves a shout out because that's awesome.
Oh yeah, Tom Odell is here with Tom's Productions with my Macho Man gear. We are your one-stop print shop for all your decorated apparel printing needs. I am a print broker. I know where to get the best deals for you, and I will also decorate your stuff myself. Laser engraving was great this past holiday season. A lot of tumblers, a lot of cups, and leatherette journals. Been truly blessed with the new business.
Awesome. And I am Tim Santos, one half of Health Markets Insurance Agency on Green Street in McHenry. Open enrollment ends on this Saturday, January 15th. If you need any health insurance, if you are a backyard wrestler and you need to make sure that you are covered, you need to call me 815-271-5438.
And to testify for Tim, I saw him, what was it, September or even August? Something like that.
Something like that.
He saved me a lot of money with my insurance. He had the best rates and knew what to do, and
Awesome.
Been very blessed with him. So give him a call right now.
Thanks for trusting me. Appreciate it.
That's it.
Cool.
So what's been happening in the world of sports entertainment since you guys were last here?
Well, look, I don't want to, the last time we were here, it's actually been a while since we were here. And, it was actually the night before Uncle Pete passed. And we had, so I just want to make sure that we are remembering that. And, we miss you, Pete.
One of our top contributors to the show.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But yeah, otherwise, business has been booming. It's been actually pretty difficult to be focused on much else other than work right now. But and also I took the challenge, the 75 hard challenge with Tom. Doing pretty well with that, and just getting my wrestler body built up.
You're looking great.
You're done a good job over there, Tom.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Anyhow, though, so wrestling, there's been a lot that's happened since we talked last.
Because it was Survivor Series, I think it was around that time.
Yeah, it was. I think that was the show was leading into Survivor Series, and then we've also had day one happen, and obviously a bunch of Raws, a bunch of SmackDowns, a bunch of Dynamites, a bunch of
Rampages,
stuff going on. Rampage. Yeah, so Tom, I'm gonna pass it over to you, man. You fill us in. Where are we at?
All right, so the big one was day one. That was the first WWE pay-per-view of the year on January 1st, New Year's Day. I think that was their first Saturday pay-per-view, if I'm not mistaken, right now.
It was.
Because I think Survivor Series, that was still on a Sunday. But I think, now they're moving most of their pay-per-views to Saturday nights, which to me, I kind of like that better because...
I got to tell you, I'm headed to the Royal Rumble with my son and Dan Gleason from the Bremer team and his son, taking a road trip there. And I'm very thankful it's a Saturday. We spend the night in St. Louis. And it's a 5-hour trip. Come back on Sunday and back to work on Monday. Not a problem. Whereas, before it's Sunday nights.
Sunday night, like 10 o'clock, 10:30 or whatever.
Tough to get out there and make those pay-per-view events. So we're pretty excited about it too. And it's shaping up to be a big event. So we're
Nate is saying AEW.
Yes, that's my favorite right now.
Yeah, that's his
But-
favorite. Look, WWE is my all-time and forever favorite.
Hard to
so,
get that out of your blood.
What was that?
Hard to get it out of your
Yeah,
blood.
It's
Yeah.
never gonna go away. It's been ingrained in me since I was 2 years old. Been
And that's what I
watching
found
wrestling.
with like wrestling fans is it's the loyalty.
Mhm.
It's like no matter what they do, you're always going to go back and watch it, and
Yeah.
you're going to talk about it and find someone that can talk about
Yeah.
it. And it's like we all have that passion for it. It brings out the inner kid in us in a way. And
Yeah.
it's just
So look, when I was younger, my grandfather, we would watch wrestling, and I probably mentioned this a few shows back, but he always had on, I forget, it wasn't WCW, it was maybe NWA or something along those
Right.
lines, where
AWA,
Jeff Jarrett,
okay,
maybe
Or
AWA,
Memphis.
Jeff Jarrett, Memphis, maybe
Championship, yeah.
Texas Tornado, Kerry Von Erich, Ric Flair,
Oh,
like
wow.
all these guys, really before.
Mid-Atlantic wrestling.
You know, it might have been actually something along those lines. And I was just like, who are these guys? You know, and I didn't even know there was another world outside of WWE. And
Right.
all through my whole life, whenever there's been an attempt to dethrone WWE,
Right.
I've just always stuck with WWE,
Mhm.
even through the heavy gimmick
Right.
90s where it was
Right.
pretty sucky at the time.
Right.
You know,
Oh, that was
especially when you
95, I think, was their worst year.
yeah, I on Peacock, you know, I'll reflect back. I've been trying to watch the Royal
Yeah.
Rumbles just to kind of get ready for the
Yeah.
new one, and those 90s shows with,
Yeah.
you know, when you got clowns and you got Repo Men and you got
Hey,
every
Repo Man.
you know who the Repo Man was?
Smash.
Yeah, Smash from Demolition. He's
Yeah.
way cooler as Demolition.
Yeah.
Although now as an adult looking back at what they
Right.
were wearing, I'm like, these guys were into something, you know, like
Is that right?
they had some questionable attire.
Well, they
back
tried
in the
doing
day,
that with
too.
Karrion Kross, and he just looked like
Oh,
an idiot.
yeah, he did look like an idiot for sure. But
Right.
you know, a big thing, obviously with day one
Mhm.
was Roman Reigns got COVID,
Right.
conveniently,
Yeah.
actually, where he didn't have to defend his title against Brock Lesnar,
And,
then
continues his streak to now. I think he's going to break the record right before Royal Rumble, if that's what the days
Yeah.
are. So
yeah, we'll see what happens there. But then Brock gets placed into what was
the
what was
four-man
originally
elimination. Yeah.
Seth Rollins versus
Big E,
Big E,
Kevin Owens.
and then
and Bobby
Kevin Owens
Lashley.
got added.
Yeah.
Then Bobby Lashley got added, and then Brock Lesnar last minute addition. And obviously, you know, Brock is going to come out with the title as he normally would. So
And
new heavyweight champion Brock Lesnar.
you know, like to me, I didn't like how Brock pinned Big E. It's two-way first spoiler alert if you didn't see it already. But yeah, Brock pinned Big E,
Yeah,
who was the champion since what was it? Summer?
Yeah, it was about that time.
Or
He-
Money
he
Bank
had-
when he cashed into Money in Bank around then.
yeah, it was around.
And
then.
I mean, I felt like they did him dirty, like they did to Bianca, and now like the joke going around the internet is how Brock just kills the New Day. Took away,
Yeah.
squashed Kofi, pinned Kofi like no time
6
flat,
seconds, I
6
think.
seconds on SmackDown when they debuted on Fox.
Yeah,
And I mean, for me, the match was exciting. It was just way too quick.
yeah.
I mean, I think it was less than 10 minutes.
Typical Brock fashion,
Right.
though.
Right.
You know, you ain't getting him to wrestle much more than that.
Right.
So,
You
and
just
he's
see the
got,
sweat pouring and
yeah,
Well, that's what I
lots of-
thought with at least a fatal 5-way, he could go longer where they take him out. I'm like, okay, he could catch his breath and be
Yeah.
out of commission for a while, but then also it's like, oh, he's back and
Yeah,
finisher after finisher and spear after spear, and oh, match is done. Like that was it.
yeah. Laying waste to everybody with Paul Heyman back on his side
Right.
too, which I
Mhm.
like. I like Paul Heyman. a lot.
I love that story angle right now, and
Yeah, it's pretty cool
mhm.
for sure.
So-
So, anyways, it's kind of shaken up though. Obviously, a new champion,
right,
and
the original WrestleMania plans. and-
yeah. Actually, the original WrestleMania plans: Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar,
right.
coming up at Royal Rumble, which I'm excited to
Yeah.
see. It's been like a long time coming. It's always
Yeah.
been like one of those matches where,
Lashley's been wanting it for years. I mean,
Yeah.
that was like one of his contract demands when he re-signed from what was it, Impact Wrestling.
yeah,
He wanted a match with Brock, and now he's finally getting it.
yeah. I'm excited to see Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. I know you're not a
Yeah.
Seth Rollins
Not
fan.
Seth Rollins guy, but that should be a good match, and hearing Seth is going to win it.
Yeah. Now,
So-
okay, so I don't know. I guess we can just go ahead and kick the door open, the
kick the
forbidden,
door,
the
yep.
forbidden door here.
Break the wall down.
Yeah. So, you know, just a couple hours ago, I sent you that text, and you know, the rumor around Chris Jericho maybe making an
Right.
appearance at the Royal Rumble
Or
That-
someone else.
or someone else. got Mickey James, the
Yeah, so
current
I got Mickey
Impact
James, yeah.
champion, women's champion. She's making an appearance there in the Royal Rumble. For those who don't know, the Forbidden Door is just simply wrestling matches happening between companies who otherwise would literally have nothing to do with each other.
Usually WWE does not allow another signed wrestler on their programming from another company. So this is where it's kind of what's going on now. Is Vince actually selling? Is he trying to max the profit to sell before? He's got his house listed in Connecticut.
Hey, man, he's got his house listed.
He's got his house
Does Don
listed,
Bremer know he's got his house listed?
I think it's like a $20 million home, Don. If you want to go
That's a
try
nice
selling it
commission
in
there.
Connecticut.
So yeah, the Forbidden Door. Traditionally WWE isn't known for allowing that to happen, but there have been instances in the past where they've definitely crossed paths with other promotions such as ECW when ECW was first kind of getting off the ground and really changing the landscape of wrestling at the time with their Extreme Wrestling. Introduced us to a lot of cool characters like Sabu and Taz and these guys who really put it all out there. The chair matches, the tables, the fires, the barbed wire. Mick Foley wrestled there. Chris Jericho.
I remember Rob Van Dam, the whole controversy with him, Mr. Monday Night coming on.
Yeah. So there was definitely interactions back in the day, and I remember being a Monday Night Raw in where was ECW based out of?
Philadelphia,
where ECW kind of invaded Monday Night Raw, and I think Paul Heyman was on commentary even, so that was kind of cool.
That was. Sally says Brock's boring. Same moves, can't move around. That's why. It's not agile, as talented in that way. It's just big and strong and boring.
Yeah, you know what? I dig Brock Lesnar though. Actually,
I never liked him,
and he's kind of coming out of his shell. They're letting him talk more. He's
I like this whole face turn he's got right now.
Yeah, he's funny. He's actually kind of a funny guy. So,
because I met him before, and it's like his persona has always been like, oh, he's a jerk. You don't go up to him. He was cool when I met him. I met him a couple times, and it's like he was awesome. I couldn't be a nicer guy. And
he's still married to Sable.
He's still married to Sable, and they have a kid.
He was probably scared of that headband you were.
Well, what's funny is that we were at a convention that he was at, and it was in Vegas, and walking around, and there was a sports store that was selling wrestling memorabilia, and there was this big giant Brock Lesnar cardboard cutout. I'm like, I want to go have him sign it because we kind of had exclusive rights to see him. So I go buy it and bring it back, and he was just cracking up when he saw it, signed it. It's still in my garage right now, and took a picture with him with it, and he's an awesome dude.
Yeah.
So
I would be pretty nervous to meet him, just because of his massive upper body strength.
He's a big dude,
pretty big guy. But a lot of wrestlers I think would be pretty cool people.
And they know how to talk to people, and that's they know how to read people, crowd reaction. I mean, they are very intelligent, and I mean, that's why I think they make great politicians.
Yeah.
And I think The Rock's going to be running soon with that.
Yeah. We can't go an episode without talking about The Rock.
Of
Thank
course
you, Tom,
That's
for bringing the Zoa Rocks energy drink here for me to try.
Healthy warrior.
I'll save it for tomorrow. 0 sugar. Thank you. My type 2 diabetes thanks you as well.
Right.
Enjoy it.
I was going to crack it open tonight. He's like, not if you don't want to sleep.
Yeah. So Nate says I want to see Austin 316, and
he'll be at Dallas.
Yeah. So WrestleMania is going to be in Dallas. We can almost for certain know that
Texas
Stone Cold will be there.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to see him one more time too, but you watch him on his podcast, and he's definitely he's still got his arms going for him.
Yeah, but he ain't in wrestling.
He's not wrestling shape.
No,
that ain't happening. You might get a stunner out of him on some unsuspected jobber of a wrestler, and that'll be pretty much it to get the pop. But what I wanted to talk about, so I looked the Forbidden Door thing, right? So we've been speculating for a while that maybe, just maybe, there's a slight possibility that Vince McMahon is a genius, and Tony Khan handed to him as well. He seems to have his finger on the pulse of what wrestling fans want to see.
Right.
If they could cross paths though and somehow work together, would that be for the better of wrestling, or do you think that would be something that would start causing a spiral?
You know what I would love to see? Do it like baseball. You got a National League and an American League,
Mhm.
and then they meet up, WrestleMania or
Right.
whatever for the true champion.
I think
That would be
the
cool.
the word WrestleMania and
Yeah.
WrestleMania
Right.
here at Tampa
Yeah.
was pretty cool. First WrestleMania
Especially
with
it
Gabe this
being a
past
two-night
year.
event.
But you're gonna call it WrestleMania.
Mhm.
If we can kick that door open and allow the best from all the companies to actually use the stage,
And even like New Japan and stuff
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
where it's like you get
yeah, I think that
different
that would be
styles.
that would benefit everybody. Now, if you asked Twitter or
Mhm.
social media, the hardcore AEW fans, doesn't seem like that's what they want to see though.
yes and no. But I mean, yeah, I
Well-
agree. Like you got the hardcore where it's this is mine, don't touch it.
Yeah.
Like we don't want more people coming into it.
Yeah. So it's
The
interesting though,
bandwagoners.
because right. So there's a lot of comments out there and it's about, we don't want AEW to be watered down like WWE is, or the gimmicks or the different things like that coming.
Mhm.
Like they really appreciate the rawness of
Mhm.
the wrestling and
Right.
not so much of the acting and the gimmicky stuff that WWE still isn't. That's their bread and butter.
That's their bread and
story.
butter,
Right.
That's what they do. But I just think as a wrestling fan,
Yeah, but
I would love to see some cross promotion matches that are top level wrestling, not
Right, not-
Impact, AEW,
not on a
the
weekly
lower-
basis.
No.
Don't blend them in, but go back to that once a year or
Right.
twice a year big blowouts where you like you said, you bring people in from all around every channel, they bring them in and go, all right, let's like us, the NCAA, March Madness.
Yeah,
Do something like that.
Is that what you changed Survivor Series to?
That could be killer.
yeah. I
You
mean,
have your AEW team, you have your Impact team, you have your WWE team, and you have the Ultimate Survivors at the end that just go at it.
yeah. I mean,
They're
that
like
would be
war
That'd be
games.
cool. Yeah, that would be cool.
It
Yeah.
really,
To see that.
Well, probably war games bring that back.
yeah, but at that point, you got you got to trust each other,
Right.
and there's got to be that brotherhood because there could be some serious injuries. You could end people's careers. Look what happened to Bret Hart all those
Right.
years ago. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Something goes a little haywire.
Yeah, who's at fault, right?
Right.
What happens?
Yeah,
What
right.
happens? Could you imagine WCW, WWF, Stone Cold Goldberg back in the day with
Right.
Goldberg notorious for injuring
Injuring
people?
injury?
Right.
He injures Stone Cold. Would WWE be where they're at today?
Right? It'd be hard.
So I mean, it'd be cool to
Yeah.
see, but infrequently, and I think a stage like a WrestleMania would be the stage because it
Right.
just fits the bill.
Yeah,
Right.
It does.
You know.
It's the Cats. I mean, put it back in the Pontiac Silverdome. It's not there
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
Blow it. I mean, you could feel a huge stadium. Nate says, I think Vince should kind of step away from WWE. Let Hunter run it. NXT runs better than Raw or SmackDown, in my opinion.
Well, I don't know about NXT anymore with all their recent releases with the producers and
Yeah, the
Taking power away from
NXT
Hunter.
2.0 at this point is kind of, to me, a little bit like
Wah, 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 wah.
yeah, they added a lot of splash of colors, and
Yeah.
I like the rawness of the
original
black
how
and
it
gold.
was.
And I don't see the appeal to just making it. It looks like it looks comic-y. It just doesn't feel the same. It's
And that's like when they let pretty much Undisputed go to AEW, and now they're reformed over there and one of the hottest gains together. I mean, it's just they're fun to watch.
It blows my mind the amount of talent that's been called up from NXT that has been let go within 3 months of them premiering. It's almost like here's your promotion and here's the door.
Right. Oh, now we can cut you.
Yeah.
Like you were saying before.
Crazy. But yeah, so I wanted to you may know more about this because honestly, I don't New Japan. I don't know anything really about New Japan pro wrestling. I don't know how much you know. But I was looking at some different times where the Forbidden Door was open and it was allowed to, and obviously AEW and New Japan kind of started that. I think maybe with Chris Jericho or Kenny Omega.
It was Jericho and Omega that's what they really wanted. Daniel Bryan wanted that too, and that WWE actually gave him the offer if he could go work New Japan and still work with WWE. But he just wanted to go to AEW where he could be him kind of thing.
Yeah.
And his style and stuff and all that. And kind of like the Forbidden Door. I mean, back when Vince first started in the 80s, I mean, a lot of it's on the show Young Rock where he kind of shows what Vince would do. I mean, Vince loves the Rock's family, his grandma and whatever. So like he let her borrow a few wrestlers, and that's kind of what they did back in the 80s and 70s, where all the different promotions would borrow a few to kind of let them see. And I think that's what's almost kind of coming back now with that Forbidden Door. Like Vince be like, hey, yeah, we'll give you Andre, but we're going to need the Wild Samoans or Rocky Johnson for this event. And it's like, okay. And I'm wondering if Vince is kind of going back full circle and stuff like, hey, I'm just going to buy you out now and take your talent.
Sally says, absolutely love how much you guys know about wrestling. It's impressive. Seriously. It's so interesting. You know, Sally, I was sitting here saying the same thing. I'm like, geez, how do you... It's just brilliant. It is good.
I tell you what, it's like song lyrics, right? Like you hear it, you've listened to songs, and whether you want to know the lyrics or not, you've heard it enough, you know the lyrics, you know all about it. Song comes on from your childhood, or maybe a song you haven't heard in a long time, and it's like riding a bike, like you know the lyrics again. So all of this information, all these things, all these events, they're just things that I've watched my whole life, and then I just reflect back on it, and something triggers that memory, and I'm like, yeah, I remember all that.
All right, so McIntyre. Let's talk about McIntyre for a minute. The hottest guy out there right now, most controversial guy, right? Jake Paul.
Yes.
And McIntyre's like, I'll wrestle him. What's your take on that? Insane, sane, should it happen? And does Jake Paul have enough guts to stick to the script?
So Jake Paul, he's one of those, he was a YouTube guy and he's a boxer or something along those lines. And he's fought some pretty good boxers, I think, right?
Yeah. UFC fighter too.
Made a bunch of money and stuff. So look, we all know the story with professional wrestling.
Yeah.
The end result is predetermined. We know that. So
and money's shock value.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't like celebrities getting involved or other people getting involved. It's purely for it's going to be a shit show basically.
Yeah, it's like when Karl Malone got in there.
Yeah, Karl Malone.
It was Dennis Rodman.
Hey, I liked it when Dennis was there.
No,
Floyd Mayweather fighting the Big Show. You got a guy who's 4 feet tall fighting a guy who's in 150 pounds soaking wet versus a guy who's 7'8", 400 pounds or whatever he was at the time.
Right.
Like, come on, let's be real.
Remember when they had Big Show fight the sumo wrestler?
Yeah, poor Big Show, man. He's been thrown under the bus a bunch of times.
Right.
It's shock value, though, right? So, same type of situation. You're going to have Drew McIntyre, but Jake Paul's a big guy. So, I mean, it could look okay. I'm more surprised that they have Johnny Knoxville in the Royal Rumble.
That just irritates me.
So that's
you just know it's a movie promotion. And
Well,
you had the whole, like, when they had the Brawl for All, with the whole boxing tournament, and you had Bart Gunn, who came out of nowhere. They weren't expecting that. And he gets the reward to fight Butterbean.
Yeah.
That was just bad.
Didn't they have the NFL or the Chicago Bears or something?
At one point, William Perry was in the WrestleMania 2 Battle Royal.
Okay.
And
then,
and
I think that maybe there were some other football players.
And then Lawrence Taylor and Bam
Lumberjack,
Bam Bigelow was the main event of WrestleMania 11.
which was one of the worst.
Which was
WrestleManias.
one of the worst.
One of the worst, if not the.
I don't even know if they have that on Peacock. Actually, I think they skip right over that.
They have to.
They should.
They
should. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, I'm not interested in anything like that, and I think that's doesn't do Drew McIntyre any justice. The guy is a beast, and I think that he deserves to be in legitimate wrestling matches for championships.
Yeah, but you know what? Good. I mean, good for him to throw it out there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's how you get people to go, wait, what? What's this guy want to do? And then it'll go on for a little while or whatever. And if Jake doesn't, and it could be setting it up down the road, when Jake decides to hang up the gloves or whatever, or he gets knocked silly. And he's like, well, I can still come in and, make some money there.
Before.
Yeah, do a cash grab.
I think he was on Raw before with The Miz or something. And
he was.
The Miz.
So I could see him
stars.
cooperating.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I know they tried having Shaq and Big Show years ago, set that up, and that just never
Yeah.
Thank God.
Came to be, but yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
So another time, the Forbidden Door, back in the 90s, you had Eric Bischoff calling out Vince McMahon almost
Oh,
every episode.
Every
of
episode.
WCW.
Remember that.
And you'd never heard it the other way around. And that's where it's very reminiscent AEW and WWE right now, where you're consistent shots
I didn't
at your
think about
competitor,
that.
Right.
Yeah.
but you're never hearing it the shoe on the other foot. You don't now.
Well,
some
now
of,
you're
some of the
starting to,
wrestlers,
yeah.
yes, but we're talking the promoters themselves that are
Right.
going out there. Eric Bischoff would be holding up Vince McMahon sucks signs, taking
Right.
him out of the crowd, and then actually challenged him to a match at Slamboree 1999 or whatever. So
Right.
there's been that time, and then one of the biggest Forbidden Doors, and then it's not really because they were purchased at the time, but the simulcast WCW Monday Nitro and Monday Night Raw, when Vince McMahon purchased WCW, but it was Shane McMahon,
Right.
Vince McMahon. Here you are. Not only are they competitive companies, well, that one was bought from the other, but even the TV stations, one was on TBS and the other one was on
Well, it's
USA
TNT,
or whatever
TNT,
it was. So
USA.
even having that allowed from a TV station perspective, that's kind of a big deal. So these things have happened in the past. It's not as new of a idea as some people make it out to be, I guess is the point. So, and I would welcome it.
And
I
that's
think it'd be kind of cool.
And that was like the whole start of the Outsiders, the NWO going into WCW is like is pre-internet days where you had to read the wrestling magazines to figure out what the heck was going on, and all of a sudden here's like Scott Hall coming out of the middle of the ring. And
For those listeners out there, a magazine was a periodical. It's printed. But you know what, though? Jericho's brilliant, though, too, right?
Oh, yeah.
So it could be plant this seed and then not show up and then totally make fun of it, or what, you know what I mean? He's not a dummy either, and he learned a lot from Vince. So he could be doing that too.
Hey, it could be WWE planting the seed just to see what AEW fans they can pull to watch to see who's going to show, because social media is blowing up right now, and everyone is like, hey, it could be MJF, it could be Chris Jericho, it could be Omega, it could be
Daniel Bryan,
all these people,
Bryan Danielson.
So
sell more tickets, sell more.
WWE is trending right now, Royal Rumble's trending right now, and it's all because of a lot to do with this stuff. So everyone will be tuning in. I mean, I'm driving 5 hours to go see it live. So
that's right.
I can't wait.
Good seats.
I think the pay-per-views are always better than
every seat. Those things are cool. So
they're all good.
They're all good. Just being there, just being in the audience of that big of a show is.
And that's why I think with the Royal Rumble, that's the shock value anticipation of like who's the next number. I think that'll be awesome to see live.
Yeah, I can't wait to be counting down every time that clock comes up to 10 seconds, counting down who's coming out next.
And that's why I wish, like right now, they would stop saying who's going to be in it.
So they keep. We talked about it earlier today. They pulled back the curtain on the females. So we got Mickie James, Impact female championship, our championship holder in the female Royal Rumble. Which was interesting because she actually had a match and she could have lost the championship prior to being in there, but she won it, so she retains. We got
probably show up there with the belt on her.
Probably. We got the Bella twins coming out of retirement to be a part of this. Lita, Kelly,
Summer Rae
was one of my favorites. Kelly.
Trisha's got to be
Sally. And Summer Rae and I forget who else, but they pretty much. Just and we can probably expect maybe Bailey, Alexa Bliss if she hasn't already come back by then, in full wrestling mode. Who knows? So I'm sure there'll still be some surprises there. But what they're not really talking about too much are the men.
Right.
And there's 30 slots, isn't that?
And when
many?
you first saw like who was it? It was like Ray and Dominic Mysterio and what's the tag team?
Like Randy Orton and
Randy Orton, the Red Soul Cup. Just
the Street Profits.
Street Profits, yeah. So Street Profits, they got them on there.
Yeah, that's some low hanging fruit there.
And Johnny Knoxville, like
big deal. And all the big guys are in their championship matches, so they're not going to be in it. They got no need to.
Well, it used to be in the old school days, the loser would be in it.
Yeah, and they try to win it later on to get back in the championship match. But there's a lot out there, so a lot of opportunity for some good shock and awe type of stuff, but I can't wait to see that, to be honest. I don't know. Anyhow, so
what about Almost? Is Almost going to show? What do you guys take? What's your take on that?
I'm worried he's going to almost be kind of like Great Khali.
Yeah,
Not very
like
mobile.
big gimmick, just a big body out there.
Yeah.
It's they paired him for a long time with AJ Styles, was half his size. Just WWE always liked the big guys.
Yeah.
Whether they were athletic or mobile or anything, they'd figure out something to do with them. And I don't see a big future for him, to be honest. It's going to just be one of those, like Andre the Giant. Vince McMahon would ship this guy around all over from territory to territory. He would go everywhere all over the world purely for the speculation or just to see.
Well, that's
the eighth wonder of the world.
I did a little research and went back and watched Hulk Hogan's very first match. And it was like he was wrestling a guy that looked like me. But back in that day, I mean, Bob Backlund held the title. You had your typical looking cats, and then Hulk comes in, and they just called him Terry. Then he wasn't Hulk Hogan. And he comes in, and it's just this big monster of a guy. 6'8" or whatever he was, with his 24-inch pythons, and as tan as the wall, and just tore up this poor fella, and it went the full time limit. It wasn't like I'm going to come in and spear you and we're done.
Right.
He wrestled, but I'm just sitting here like, what is this guy, an accountant during the day? What's happening? But if you get a chance, go back, YouTube Hulk Hogan's very first match. But what I love is the announcers, because I didn't know anything about him. And here's just this big dude, like, it was something else. But that's what I take a look at Almost and go, okay, can he be a main eventer? Look at The Rock. You go back to Rock's, what I call Rock's, his baby fat days.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't have guessed at that point either.
Yeah.
With his Elvis chops and, that he'd turn into, who he is.
Yeah. Well, the Elvis chops, though, that was like when he turned into The Rock. And that's when my interest in The Rock grew, when he finally
got that edge.
Got the edge, wore the $500 flashy shirts and the gold chain and the dress pants, sliding across the ring to do the people's elbow, and just talking in third person and all that stuff was just like, I was always the Rock guy, and my friends were always Stone Cold, but I always cheered for The Rock.
I was Rock and Jericho, and when they were feuding, that was the best.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what else, Tom? What are we looking at here?
So we've got the whole CM Punk MJF feud going on. That was kind of going back and forth with the Edge and Miz feud in WWE. And Punk lately has been telling MJF, hey, how about you just go over to WWE and see if the grass is really greener on the other side and see what happens. And they've been taking some digs at each other, some real shooting digs, where Punk actually like bit his lip at one of them, and they're like, that one kind of got under Punk's skin right there. And he didn't. Punk usually has a great response, and that time he just because like he never main evented WrestleMania, and that's always been a sore subject. And MJF went right at him at that.
So I don't know. It's been weeks, maybe a month even, but MJF and CM Punk in the ring, when he first calls them, you're just a less famous Miz,
right?
One of the best promos I've seen in a long time, and I like MJF.
Yeah,
he's a complete asshole jerk, but
owns it.
He owns it. You believe him, and even from the social media standpoint, like if you say something stupid to him, he'll call you out, and you're an effing idiot or whatever. Right. I think his parents even told him his mom tweeted, "Stop being an asshole," and
she showed up at the arena with a sign, "My son is an asshole."
Yeah. When you got mom and dad on board like that, like you either really are an asshole or you're just really good at what you're doing. But I love that feud.
Yeah.
And the dig at Miz though. So Miz is a household favorite for us. We love the Miz. I've been watching the Miz since he was
he's another one that always annoyed me.
Yeah, you know what? But his annoyance is he's just like MJF. Like, I just believe everything he says. He is an actual jerk, but he's on a TV show that I like
Right.
to watch, right? So
Mhm.
like he's a character that I enjoy
Mhm.
watching. We watch Ms. and Mrs.
Mhm.
and that reality show. Sally loves that the back.
Mhm.
He's on the
stories of
Dancing with the
things.
Stars.
He was right. So, and I think we talked about it too, or at least mentioned it to you. With as much crap that he's gotten over the years, he's I think the only 2-time, what do they call it when you win all the
Grand
championships?
Slam.
Grand Slam champion.
Mhm.
One of the best Intercontinental champions
Mhm.
ever, and he's held the WWE championship twice as well.
Main
Like,
event at WrestleMania.
give him credit. He beat
Beat
John,
John
Cena with and battled off the Rock.
Right.
So give him credit, man. He's the longevity. He's been doing it for a long time. Doesn't get hurt, but he's pretty good.
Time to play the game! It's all about the game, and how you play it, all about control, and if you can take it, all about your
Yeah. You guys almost forgot the game. Here it is. Best, the worst, the best of, the best of, the worst of, the worst of. The best gimmick that has ever been out there for a non-headliner, and the absolute worst for a non-headliner.
Ooh.
Bastion Booger.
Bastion Booger. Is that a best or a worst?
Is that the best or the worst?
Just Google Bastion Booger and you'll see why.
Bastion Booger.
Who was the guy that fell through the wall?
That was
Tugboat.
Shockmaster.
Shockmaster.
The Shockmaster.
He at least had the worst debut.
Worst debut ever. I would
Where so that gimmick's pretty bad. They took a Star Wars helmet, glittered it up,
Yep.
and then he fell on his first appearance, and this huge build up to him, and just fell through the
Right
wall.
there.
It was horrible.
It was bad.
Yeah, but non-headliner best gimmick. It just popped into my head. I mean, non-headliner, $1 Million Man.
Oh,
Never really
Ted
got
Baby.
the opportunity. Very maybe one. He
it was like
partnered
WrestleMania
with
4 when he
he partnered up with Andre the Giant. You know, he had his time,
Mhm.
but usually a mid-card level type of performer.
Mhm.
And he I believe he really lived his gimmick. Like he actually did have money. I don't know that, maybe I'm mistaken, but that whole thing. And then I guess there's some controversy when he had Virgil as his bodyguard at the time, but even that developed into a good mid-card story where Virgil's fed up with him. They have this big issue, and they end up wrestling each other. But from a classic performer, I mean, $1 Million Man pops into my mind, or a Mr. Perfect.
Mhm.
Intercontinental champions, never the heavyweight champion, though, never the main eventer. But from a technical wrestling aspect of it, me and you both do the gum thing, right? Like that's stuck. He could talk, he could wrestle, he could do it all, and he did it in spandex clothing that you'd see in an 80s workout video.
Right here.
Richard Simmons, there you go.
There you go.
One of the best matches ever, him and Bret Hart, when Bret Hart first wins the Intercontinental Championship.
SummerSlam
So
91,
So I would say those are at least pop into my mind as best non headliner. This guy may take one of the worst, a clown. I really dig that too much, but
I'm not a big clown fan.
What do you think? Who's your best
My
non headliner?
See, like when I was a kid, I loved the Blue Blazer.
Okay.
And that's where, that was my inner child.
Owen Hart.
Well, when Owen Hart was the Blue Blazer, I actually, in high school, made a tribute to him and created my own wrestler called the Blue Booger.
Okay.
Maybe one day you'll see that. But yeah. Oh, there's Bastion Booger.
Let me get him.
That's my before
Yeah.
75 hard picture right there. My after doesn't look that much different. It's not wearing the same outfit.
But the gimmicks I've enjoyed, I enjoyed Papa Shango's when he was feuding with the Warrior. I consider Jake the Snake kind of a headliner. He's mid or upper tier, but he never had a championship. Yeah, same with Roddy Piper. But
I was just looking at that doll. I'm like, Roddy Piper.
Not
too.
a doll, action figure tag.
That's an action figure. That's right.
Rowdy Roddy, though, he got in the headlines, though.
But yeah, he was WrestleMania 1. He was a headliner.
But-
Piper's
but,
Pit.
But
the
with
non-champion.
Paul Orndorff, right?
Right.
He wasn't by himself.
Oh, Paul
Against
Orndorff.
Mr.
Or-
T and
Or
Hogan.
Yeah. Interesting. See,
worse,
I like
worse is Bastion Booger.
Worst is Bastion Booger.
one of my favorites was Coco Beware, right?
Birdman.
Yeah.
The Birdman. You know, everybody kind of got excited when he came in.
Yeah, he's out there.
Yeah,
flapping
flapping
and
his
he's got,
wings. The crowd would
his
go
bird with him.
crazy. So he's probably one of my better, best of. And worst of, any kid, of a old time wrestler.
Mhm.
Right, because they ride dad's coattails a lot, and they come in with not a lot of talent, or Randy Orton's done well for himself, of course,
Yeah.
And of course, Dusty's boys have done well too, but you're just kind of like, man, they come in because they think
That's a
they
good
got
one.
it. Yeah, Jim Duggan's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was Uncle Pete's favorite guy.
It
Yeah,
was.
it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you see these kids come in that they think they deserve it, and
Entitled.
they fizzle out. It's that's where I'm going with that. Carlito, I never liked Carlito either.
Now he's super ripped.
yeah.
He's in the best shape.
I didn't understand that, but
Other one.
Sally says Santino.
Santino Morella. I was thinking
Yeah.
about him.
Yeah, he's probably one of the. So when he turned into a funny guy, I dug him then.
I loved him as
Yeah, but
him and Beth
when
Phoenix.
he first started though, he wasn't like that.
Right.
He was like
Yeah.
a hardcore Italian guy or whatever, and that didn't work. But kind of thinking back of some of these older time wrestlers and the mid Carters, Erwin R. Shyster, again paired up with $1 Million Man,
Right.
Money Inc.
Yeah.
Honky Tonk Man though comes to mind too. Is actually one of the best gimmicks because that guy thought he was Elvis, like for real.
right, yeah.
So he lived.
I got
he
Greg the
lived
Hammer
it.
Valentine with him, Rhythm and Blues.
Yeah, Rhythm and
Rhythm
Blues.
and Blues.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And when you mentioned Coco Beware, the first thing that popped in my head was WrestleMania 6.
Mhm.
I think he was the opening match,
Right.
and that music hits, and he's out there with Frankie the Bird.
Thank you, Sally.
And out there wrestling. I forget who was wrestling, but when they were carted out on the carts
Right.
because the walk was so
Mhm.
long, the only idiot that walked it, well, Hulk Hogan walked it, and Ultimate Warrior ran it. And was
Out of gas.
out of gas by the time he got to the ring. But yeah, man, that was
Eddie's he's gonna
That's
make
Bret
the
Hart's my
wrestling
guy.
make the wrestling gods mad.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Bret Hart,
Yeah, Goldust, I never was a fan of his either.
Goldust, I saw
Thank you,
his
Sally.
debut at Valparaiso University, and that was one of the most bizarre things because
Yeah.
he comes out. He was not even on TV yet, so this was called a dark match where you're not shown, not advertised,
Yeah.
nothing. They just want to see what the crowd's reaction is to these guys, and he comes out, and we're all kind of like, well, "What is this?" He's got this wig or whatever. Then all of a sudden, he just rips the wig off and goes pounds the guy in the corner. It's
yeah,
like,
yeah, and then
And
probably
his
humped
moves.
him or something.
I think
like
I've been at that party.
that was that's pre-humping days. But
Pre-humping. Okay.
Yeah.
It was Terry
Terry Runnels, Terry,
Uh,
his wife was with him at that time before they divorced, and
Yeah, he still wrestles.
he still wrestles. Yeah, he's over in AEW, best shape of his life, I think, thanks to DDP yoga. And
Yeah.
the other one I was thinking of was Ravishing Rick Rude.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's like, and now, like, as a kid, I couldn't stand him.
Yeah.
But growing up as an adult, rewatching this stuff,
beautiful mullet.
you sweat
Yeah,
hard,
yeah,
or whatever, and like.
Yeah.
And what he would do with his tights, so like have Jake the Snake Roberts'
The-
wife on
the,
one
the
hand,
airbrush. Yeah,
Right,
that's
the
cool. Have
airbrush
Ultimate
like
Warrior's
that.
face on his ass or
All right.
something, you know.
Good
like-
mustache too.
I remember like
Mustache.
being in front of the bed or the bathroom mirror or whatever. I'd be doing the whole pelvic thing, and my mom would walk by like, "Thomas, what are you doing? Don't do that."
Looking back at some old, he was good on the mic too.
Right.
And I remember he would invite females out of the audience to come in, and then he would call them a fat pig or
Yeah,
something like that.
remember that?
Like, jeez.
Yeah, just embarrassing.
Sweat hogs.
Just embarrassing.
Sally says I do DDP yoga every night. My version.
Yeah.
Giggity. Hey, terrific. Here's a good question for you. Coming off of the game there, best of, worst of. Who do you guys think are the top wrestlers in the WWE right now? And would they make it in the Attitude Era? Personally, I'd love to see Randy Orton in that era. And that's a good question. Most other professional sports we do. Hey, we measure to the GOAT in basketball. We do it in football. We do it in baseball. We take a look at all these guys. It's a good question. The sport has evolved. It's a little bit different. Bigger, stronger, more athletic people now, of course. But in that Attitude Era, would the best today survive?
What do you want to go? I think in terms of the mic, there's not too many guys right now that are good on the mic that are after the Attitude Era. I mean, you got Miz and MJF, but
yeah, so
Orton can't talk.
No, he can't.
No.
Top guys in WWE. So Roman Reigns, obviously top guy. He has come out of his shell being a heel.
He's a better heel than a face.
He definitely is. Would he survive in the Attitude Era? He would probably be eaten up verbally, but he's got the physique, so he would likely be the enforcer behind someone who has, So what was it? The had Farouk in
Nation
the
of Domination.
He would be the Godfather, the one of those guys, the background guys, similar to how he was with the Shield.
Right.
He was the enforcer. He's the muscle behind things.
The quiet strength.
Then you have someone who's on the mic. Would he have survived? Probably, but probably wouldn't be at the level where he is now.
Right. I think AJ Styles would.
Yeah, AJ Styles.
He could back it up.
He could back it up. Yeah. He could wrestle. He's got that Shawn Michaels type of attitude, ability in the ring, the swag. Yeah, he probably would do well. And I don't know. Besides that, though, like someone like Xavier Woods, he's pretty clever on the mic, and they take some sharp jokes at each other and some jabs and stuff like that. How they talk. The New Day, all of them probably would be able to get by, but they would be mid card tag team or open up the show type of
because that team. Attitude Era, you had the Great Talkers, you had The Rock, you had Jericho, you had Austin, you had Triple H. Borderline, I consider him a good talker. Sometimes he bores me, but
I gotta go back to that Triple H when you played that music. Like something in me was like, man, if that music hits at the Royal Rumble and he comes and just runs roughshod through everybody, like I'm taking this freaking company back tonight. That would be amazing to see. I would love to see him get another run because, at first Hunter Hearst Helmsley, I did not care for him, and good because that was the job, right? I wasn't supposed to like him, but once he became part of DX and he was given the mic and then when he took over, and he is one of the greatest ever.
And he's got a good workout DVD too. I don't know if you ever tried it yet.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, I'll lend you my copy. It's sweet. Like 15-20 minutes a day. All you need to do.
Does he like instruct you?
There's well, you're guaranteed to pull your quad when you're done with that.
That's it. That's right. I like his look now better than with the long hair though. He looks good now.
But like his original character was based off of Vince McMahon's neighbor. His neighbors, the Pompous, Connecticut.
Is that right?
Yeah, it was based off his neighbors. It was kind of Vince.
Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
So I was on WWEshop.com gonna purchase some shirts, to bring to Royal Rumble because I don't want to wait in line there and pay the
$30-$40.
$30-$40. I'll pay the $25 online. And they currently have terrorizing shirts on there. That was Hunter's first gimmick, terrorizing. Yeah, that was his first. So what a horrible name that is.
Right.
They got some old school like these. They got Isaac Yankem.
Kane's
first. These shirts, these throwback shirts. So I want to get some of those. It'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, Nate says Rhea Ripley seems like the new era for women's division, a lot better on wrestling aspect. The Attitude Era had the hottest as far as looks. Yeah, we've talked about that on the show too. I mean, these ladies, they know how to get after it now.
Yeah. So look, the Attitude Era, they were forced into bra and panty matches, and that's how they were hired. There were sports models. They weren't. They were never
former
meant
cheerleaders or whatever,
to actually have a wrestling career. They were meant to just be something for guys to gawk at, or to get up and go get your beer or your bathroom break, 3 to 5 minute.
Right.
You're lucky. They were lucky if they had a 3-minute match.
Yeah.
So you like usually always the match right before the main event, so you could go stretch, get what you needed, so you sit down and watch it.
That's right.
But when NXT, you know, and obviously credit to Trish Stratus and Lita, and they were brought in kind of under that same, like, obviously beautiful women, but with an athletic ability.
Right.
And the first women to headline a Raw,
Right.
and that was like, I don't know how long, 20 years, 15 years ago or something now.
Right.
But it was really NXT that when
Bailey,
with Bailey and
Flair,
Sasha Banks
Becky.
and Becky, all them, we started watching NXT really for the first time, and like these matches were unbelievable.
Right.
The NXT takeovers, and I was like, wow, these women are really putting out there 30-minute Iron Woman matches and cage matches and all that stuff. So yeah, the Attitude Era definitely had hot women as far as looks, but hey, these women are pretty hot too, and they can wrestle, so I like that.
Yeah, I think like the 4 horsewomen would definitely be able to compete in the Attitude Era.
Yeah, absolutely. They're all good on the mic too.
Yeah,
they can all talk.
Yeah, a little bit better than the dudes. A little better.
And that's why I was wondering, like, they got to bring back managers.
Wrong show, Eddie. We don't talk MMA. This is sports entertainment. 2 different sports, right? So as we set up and you know, we're looking at you know, about 10 minutes left. What's coming up this year, guys? Well, I mean, you're headed down to St. Louis. And what else can we look forward to?
Well, you know what? That's really going to kind of set the stage as far as WWE, what to look forward to. It's the beginning of the road to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I don't really like that term because WrestleMania is only like 2 months later.
Right.
So
sometimes it's like even a month later, depending on when the Royal Rumble falls.
But a lot of things are going to be kind of shape the landscape for the next year in WWE based on who wins the Royal Rumble, women's and men's, because that's going to determine the main events at WrestleMania. Obviously, titles can change hands and stuff like that. So as far as what's ahead for WWE, it's a lot riding on the success of that event and what happens. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. And honestly, if there is we started talking about the Forbidden Door, something happens at Royal Rumble, that could also lead to a lot of cool and interesting things coming up this next year as well. What's next on AEW?
AEW, I forget.
They got a pay-per-view coming up. I haven't seen anything.
I haven't seen it. Yeah, I don't remember. I know they got a house show coming up in Chicago. Not a house show, Dynamite, February 2nd in Chicago, Wintrust Arena.
Yeah, and WWE's got a pay-per-view in June, I think, at probably the Allstate.
Allstate, more likely, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll probably be heading there. Raw is coming to Allstate Arena in March as well. So
and Fozzie's coming back April 2nd to Aurora to play Jericho and his band.
So Nate asked, do you guys know the story behind Becky Lynch? Absolutely incredible what she overcame to wrestle. So I'm a little bit familiar with her story. I know she was a flight attendant for quite a while, I think, with her mom, but she's definitely been wrestling for since she's been able to. I haven't really seen too much of her backstory.
Not so much hers, more Paige.
Yeah, Paige. You know what? Speaking of Paige, she's been trending too because she's been hinting at getting back in the ring too. So that could be a surprise entrant at the Royal Rumble.
I miss Paige.
Yeah,
I was a big fan of hers when she came in, and it was just felt so bad with that injury.
Yeah,
the neck.
Yep. But as it's been proven with Edge and Daniel Bryan, a neck injury doesn't mean it's the end of your career. It just means it's the end for now. So we'll see what happens. I love her movie, Fighting with My Family, which was directed and produced by The Rock. Yeah. Again, can't go an episode without mentioning The Rock numerous times. Shout out to The Rock. Hope you're listening, bud.
And if you want to sponsor us, The Rock, and give us some more Zoa, that'd be great.
We'll drink. We'll come back with our. How many rocks does the Zoa get?
Okay.
We'll become influencers. So Dwayne, hook us up.
Yeah. Matter of fact, once I'm done with the 75 hard, maybe next episode I'll bring some Terramana tequila as well. And we'll
celebrate with that.
We'll celebrate with that. I've had had my fair share of that tequila, and I'll tell you what, it's pretty good.
That's what I heard. I haven't had it yet, and I'm not a tequila guy, but I've heard it's really good.
It's
Not bad.
tasty.
That's it.
For
Of
sure.
course, we're going to try to get some folks in the business. We're hopefully this year too, right? We've got a couple of people that we're reaching out to see if we can get them on, have some segments with them, and just bring real life into this thing with people in the business.
Yeah,
I think it'll be a blast.
absolutely. I think it's I was checking into over here in Woodstock, Illinois. Every Saturday they have a indie show, 7:30.
Yep.
Love to get over there and see what those guys go through and how they train and
Yeah.
how where they're at in their career, and maybe invite them on the show as well.
What are you doing this Saturday? Let's go.
Maybe actually. So it's my son Gabe's. It's his 15th birthday on Sunday, but as of right now, Saturday is pretty open, and maybe we bring him along. He's a huge wrestling fan as well.
Yeah, see, why not?
So, yeah, she overcame both of her broken ankles, 2 stingers in her neck, and a serious head injury. Yeah, I didn't know all that about her. So, yeah, that's
Tom, did you?
I did not know.
What the hell? Fire him.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. That should be a segment. Stump Tom.
Stump Tom.
Stump Tom. Somebody gave you a stinger. That's
we'll
it.
call it. Oh, you didn't know.
Oh, you
Oh, yeah.
didn't know?
Yeah.
I asked her to call somebody.
Absolutely. Good stuff. Very, very excited. Of course, we're down to the last 4 minutes of the show. What else haven't you guys covered that you want to get through?
I think next show is going to be dedicated more towards the Royal Rumble because
Yeah.
we'll be the week of right before you go, and we'll give our predictions and.
Yeah, absolutely. So Royal Rumble is it's one of the 4 staple pay-per-views. That's I think it was
Original 4.
one of the original 4 with Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam. Lots of history with Royal Rumble, lots of surprise entrances, lots of returns.
Lots of desperation.
Yeah, lots of desperation. Lots of funny stuff too that has happened at the Royal Rumble. From just people coming down.
Right.
Bushwhacker
Right.
Luke, I think, held the record for walked right into the ring and was immediately eliminated until
It was
maybe
Santino, I think,
Santino actually beat that record and was only in there for a few seconds. So yeah, some funny stuff. I
Right.
was watching Royal Rumble 1991 the other night, and it was right in the heat of the war in the Middle East, and Sergeant Slaughter was an Iraqi sympathizer, whatever. And beat the Ultimate Warrior for the championship with the assist from Macho Man, and so that was the end of the Ultimate Warrior pretty much at that point. He won the belt at WrestleMania 6 and lost it at the Royal Rumble, and and that he pretty much kind of fell off at that point, pretty much.
Self-destruction, the Ultimate Warrior, pretty much.
Yeah, that was the beginning of it. Anyways, lots of cool things have happened over the years at Royal Rumble, and so I look forward to talking about some of those memorable moments.
Memorable moments.
Talk about our favorite and worst moments.
Karrion Kross. Did you guys talk about Karrion Kross signing with the WWE instead?
I didn't see that.
He signed with. They released him.
Who's that? WWE did?
Yeah, Karrion Kross.
I didn't hear anything new.
As of January 11th, 2022.
Oh, he resigned.
That's what I'm getting.
It's
coming across the wire.
Man, it's hot off the press, man. I'm sorry. We're trying to run a show over here.
Yeah. Opens up about decision to sign with WWE.
Hey, we realized that the gimmick we gave you was wrong, and come on back so we can make you better.
Yeah. Well, there you
Perhaps,
go.
yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
He's got talk about some hot ladies. He's got a smoking hot sidekick himself, and she had an injury. I guess is why she never made her appearance up on the main roster, but I think she's past that. So honestly, if they package him the way that they had him on NXT, I'm a fan.
Right.
So, but
debut on Raw? Nope.
Yeah, no. It was
It's like, what are you doing?
What's going on?
Yeah, we have to look into
what is
that.
Vince thinking?
We're slipping in our old age, Tom. How do we not know this?
Oh, because we weren't on our phones during our show.
Well, thank you, Kent, for that insider information. Someone's in his ear telling him all
Yeah,
this stuff.
that's good. Yeah. Well, if you don't, you should subscribe to WrestlingInc.com. Good stuff.
All right. Cool.
Good
Sounds
stuff.
good.
Used to be one of my favorite websites. Always clicking on that information,
See?
and then all of a sudden I start getting bad tracking and cookies and viruses. And
Oh,
I think it was that one.
That may not be.
you sure it was from that site?
Yeah. I was going to say. Oh, you didn't know?
I played the fifth.
There you go.
Absolutely. All right. Hey, we have got about 30 seconds. We can't thank you all enough for spending a little bit of your Tuesday night with us right here on Let Me Tell You Something, Brother, brought to you through the financial support of our good friends over at the Santos Agency Health Markets on Green Street and Tom's Productions on wherever you're at, Tom. I don't know. Where's you're just mobile. Remote?
I
Tom's
come
all
there.
over the place.
I'm all over.
He'll come to you.
I'll come to you.
That's what this guy does, right? So for all of us here, 21.6 the net, look out because it could be happening.
Are
to
you
you.
ready? You think you can tell us what to do? You think you can tell us what to wear? You think that you're better? Well, you better get ready. Bow to the masters. Break the wall!